Hey YouTube, this is Eddie's Tech Talk, and this is a little bit of a different video. You're seeing a very old device here, the HTC M7. And I'm going to take a look at it, give you guys my quick thoughts. It shouldn't be too long of a video, but just give you quick thoughts after powering on the device in a drawer, using it, kind of my general perspective on it, and Android. And let's pick it up and get going without further ado. So this device actually launched in 2013, so it was directly competing with the Samsung Galaxy S4 at the time. And I remember I picked this device up because I thought it wiped the floor with the Galaxy S4. What you have here is a metal build, which the Galaxy S4 had a plastic build, and you can see it can definitely take quite a beating. I'm pretty sure this fell out of my bike bag, if memory serves me correct, when I was on a bike ride. So, I was going a decent clip and it fell on cement, and you can see the damage that it sustained here, but the device is still perfectly functional and nothing happened to the screen. So, very durable device. But anyway, on the front here, I believe we have a 4.7-inch display with a back button and a home button. No multitasking button. That's a double tap of the home button to get to multitasking. A big deal with this was the dual front stereo speakers. So these are both speakers here, and I think it also had some Beats audio integration also. We've got some sensors here for like screen auto brightness, that sort of thing. Front-facing camera. On the side we have plastic. This is the volume button, which is a little bit mushy, but still, hey, it works. And then on the bottom we've got a micro USB port and a microphone. On the left side we've got our SIM card tray and nothing else. And then on the back, well, I suppose on the top, we have a power button, which also doubles as an IR blaster for a TV. So a feature from a phone from 2013 that you're definitely not getting today, IR blaster capability, and a headphone jack with that Beats sound integration as well. Then we've got our camera on the back here, single camera, single flash, another microphone, and then the metal built back. So you can see in my hand here versus something like my Pixel 4, which is a small phone, certainly by today's standards. Even the HTC is much smaller than even one of the smallest flagship phones out today, the Pixel 4. So definitely back when phones were a little bit smaller with this here HTC. No fingerprint scanner, no face unlock or any of that stuff. You just have your standard pin unlock or pattern and all that fun stuff. So you can see we've definitely got some bezels around the side here, but what really stunned me by turning this device on, swiping through the interface and using it, this is running Android 5.0.2, which is the last version supported, so about going on 6 years in terms of an older operating system, is just how fluid that normal kind of stuff is, just navigating through. We always talk about fluidity as it is now in Android, but I was surprised how this Snapdragon 600 series, the old 600 series, not the new 675s, we're talking in the 600s when that was the flagship processor, how snappy and how well it could hang through the interface. Now when we open apps from cold, you see like the camera, you're going to get just a little bit of lag. Launching apps like that. We'll take a photo here with the camera of this Amazon box. So you can see the camera look. The picture turned out, okay. I would say that it's better than I would expect it, in these modern days. Given that it's an old camera, it's a single shooter, it's using older technology. But as we zoom in here, this is still decently clear. The colors don't pop quite as much they might seem to on camera. But this is definitely truer to life camera than we're seeing, than I thought, I guess, I would see. So camera not so bad, but like I said, with these old Snapdragon phones, it takes a second to launch the camera, and then when you snap a photo, it takes just a second longer than on modern phones, right, to grab that shot. And it doesn't have a ton of advanced features here in terms of, it's got a split capture, the Zoe camera. I remember I was really excited for that at the time. So it captures stills and videos with one button, which that never really took off in HTC's implementation here. It's got selfie mode, so we can see me shooting the video here. We'll snap one. Got a little 3-second countdown. Take a look at this photo. It's okay. This is decently lit. You can see that there's a lamp right next to me. Let's see if we can see any detail on the camera. And I mean, it does get pretty fuzzy on the front facing camera when you zoom in. There's some noise from the light, so not impressive. But hey, look, I'm not comparing it to modern flagships. I'm not saying go out and pick yourself up a used HTC One M7. It was just, hey, let's turn this thing on, let's see what it's got. And what really strikes me, like I was saying, was we have a lot of cool stuff in Android and with iPhone through the years. You know, this is an older phone, but like I said, what strikes me is how much really hasn't changed. The Android interface is basically what you're used to. If you use the classic layout of the back button, the home button, as well as multitasking, again, we still have cards. It's really very similar, and I was surprised by that. We'll do a search here for. We'll just load up The Verge because it's a very heavy website, and we can see, okay, we're scrolling. Things take a little bit long to load. I'm on a really good Wi-Fi here, so I'm not quite sure if it's the processor or this phone only had 2 gigs of RAM, so that could be part of it as well. Scrolling, you can see a little bit, not quite as fluid as on modern smartphones, you can see, but I was impressed at just how good this is, especially given the time that it came out in. Like I said, I think the build quality was better, the speakers were better. There's a lot going on here that was better than its competitor of the day from Samsung, just not quite as much put in here from I think a marketing perspective. So yeah, I know there's new Chrome available. This thing's pretty old, but to me, I wish we would see more phones kind of like this, and we can see it just takes a little bit to load. But look, it's not unusable, and it's not crazy. Yeah, it is annoying with modern websites taking a little bit to load in, you know, their content and those kinds of things. See, look, now I think I accidentally clicked that because I was trying to hit the comments, and you know, things are loading in late there. So not the best browsing experience for sure, but once the page is in and you have most or all the elements loaded, you're rocking decently well. Like I said, the web browsing experience not great. Really wish we had something a little bit better. We can see it is struggling a little bit here, but again, this is a very intense site to load on an old Snapdragon 600 series with only 2 gigs of RAM. So we'll give it a second to load here, but you can see it already loaded in the video. We can scroll through, start reading the article. Oh, you got an ad there that just loaded in. So look, not great, but not unusable. Things are generally decently snappy here. And so, like I was saying, yeah, you can see the deficiencies. You can see where, hey, this is an older phone for sure. It's 7 years old at this point, where it doesn't stack up to modern phones, even in the low range. But this phone also was from an era when flagship phones didn't cost $1,000 to buy. And it strikes me how little Android has changed in that time. You know, if you release something like this today, in this form factor, maybe even this build quality, and you said, you know, it's $200, $299. Let's say you update the camera. Even the screen is really good. I would say that the screen holds up very well to modern screens. So the screen's good. But you know, you update the internals here a little bit, sell it for a cheap price, and you've got yourself quite the phone. So to me, it just puts in perspective all the more how Android hasn't changed as much as I would have liked it to in positive ways, and just how expensive phones have gotten for a lot of window dressing in terms of features and things that they're able to accomplish. Yes, this device is not something I would use in 2020. It's not worth it. Don't go buy it. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, this was back in the day when Android was really finding its footing, and I was excited about every new release of Android. Android 5 was a big upgrade, Android 6, Android 7, etc., etc. But now we're getting to the point where things are kind of mature. They're kind of where they are. We're not seeing huge changes year to year like we used to in the smartphone market. So to me, this was when Android was just finding its features, finding its bare minimum stuff to be good, and now these days we're adding a lot more in terms of gimmicks or additional features that don't improve over the previous iteration, previous version of the phone as it did in these days. The M8 a little bit better than this, and I own the HTC 10, which I thought was significantly better than this, that had USB Type-C. So we're talking about iterative, big movements forward versus little small changes now. So I thought this just was a good video to put out, a good little microcosm, how Android used to look back in the day, what's it like to power on one of these old flagships. And like I said, things haven't changed as much as I thought. I booted it up and I knew the gestures, I knew what to do. This is still Android, and it hasn't changed as much as I would have liked to. And our phones, they're getting more and more expensive, and we seem to be getting a little bit less and less in terms of massive improvement over the generation before, or maybe even the generation before that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. This was as much of a look at the HTC a little bit as it was a commentary about how Android and iPhone, those things have changed or not changed over the course of time. So what do you guys think? Do you have any fond memories of the HTC brand or the M7? I loved my M7. I got an HTC 10 to follow it. And then, you know, the HTC wasn't putting out so much great stuff anymore. So it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below, and I'll see you in the next one.